Hey, welcome to today's jazz guitar lesson. Following on from last time, I covered the chords and the harmony of Sweet Georgia Brown in the last lesson. If you missed that, check the description beneath. And today we're going to look at soloing over the first section of chords using chord tones and some 3 different levels really, so sort of from where to start and how to build it up and make it a bit more musical. So we're going to be working with the first section, which is E7, 4 bars, a long time to explore the chord tones, which is great. A7, same chord type, which makes it good for our shapes of arpeggios. D7, again, same chord type, dominant. Then we get G6, A-7, D7, G6, then F♯7 flat 5, B7. Now just for ease, I'm going to just scrub out a couple chords there. We're not going to worry about the F♯7 flat 5, just play B7 over that. And over the A-7 to D7, I'm just going to play D7. In both instances, I'm just saying bye-bye 2, which you can do, by the way, to simplify things. Level 1, just using 1, 3, 5, 7 or 6 for the G6 chord. So for E7, we're going to use this shape here, this position here, which is E, G sharp, B, D, 1, major third, perfect fifth, flat 7. Get that up, get it down. Different orders. A7. Same intervals, different notes. A, C sharp, E, G. Make sure you can play E7 to A7. That was down A7, down E7. D7. Again, it's the same chord type, same intervals. D, F sharp, A, C. So E7. A7, D7, do them down. G6, so that's a major triad plus the major 6, so it's G, B, D, E, and then B7, do slightly differently. We'll drop to get the remainder of the intervals, so B, D sharp, F sharp, A, 1, 3, 5, 7, flat 7. So E7, A7, D7, G6, B7. Make sure you can find those, think about the sound of them, sing them, play them up and down, different orders, then try them to a track. I've just looped this section of the chords. E7, A, D7, G6, D7, G6, B7, and again, E7, A7, D7 next, G6, B7. Try and create little riffs. G6. You hear the ideas, and it's just trying to play those, in order. You might need to keep it really simple rhythmically. Might just be first off, da, da. A7, 1, 2, 3, 4, D7, G6, D7, G6, ooh, B7. Ramps up a little bit there because the chord frequency changes, but you can't have chords stretching out for 4 bars all the time, it get boring. So for level 2, let's add in 2 interesting notes to our chord tone pool. Just for a little bit more colour, let's add in the 6th and the 9th on those dominants on E, A, and D. So we're going to have E, G sharp, B, and D, but add in C sharp the 6th and F sharp the 9th. That sweet sound, very sweet sound, that top one. A7, sorry. So you've got A, C sharp, E and G as normal, but then add in the 6th, F sharp and B, the 9th, D7, D, F sharp, A and C is normal, but add in a B, the 6th, and E, the 9th. Sorry, I added an extra note in there. And then again. Obviously you can get all these notes in many other ways as well, but we'll just keep the G6 the same and the B7 because it's quite quick. Okay, I'll try and do something with those and emphasize the 6th and the 9th and see what that sounds like. Here we go. A7, D7, G6, B7, there's the 9th, there's the 6th, here's the 9th, there's the 6th, there's the 6th, there's the 9th. So obviously the levels have gone up. Level 1 was just the plain 1, 3, 5, 7. You can do a lot with that. You can play little melodies and short phrases with those, adding in those additional notes, the 6th and the 9th. So get used to those different sounds that you can explore over the chords, the basic tones plus the 6th and the 9th for a little bit more interest. And then you could be like, right, got to make this work a little bit more. It's got to sound less like arpeggios going up and going down. For level 3, it would take a bit of practice. But what I want you to do is, whatever note you finish on the previous chord, go to the nearest note of the next chord. So if I was on a E7, I finish on a D, I can resolve down a semitone to C sharp, which is the 3rd of the next chord. So if I finished on the B, I could chromatically fall down to the A. You hear that? Then I'm landing on the root of our chord. So there, da, da, da. Now I'm in A7. Sorry. Finishing on a G, it could go down a semitone to F sharp for the D7. And all I'm trying to do is find the next note of the next chord as closely as I possibly can, wherever I'm finishing. Now to do this suddenly over a backing track is really hard. I think you have to know how chords, say, collide. So E7 to A7, like E, if you finished on an E on an E chord, then E's a note of an A7, so you can stay on it. If you finish on G sharp, then you're a semitone away from A and G, 2 notes of an A7. If you finish on D, you're a semitone above C sharp, or a tone beneath E, which is the 5th of A. And these things are quite complicated if you don't know your chords. But if you know your chords and the notes within them, you can start to make these connections. So if I play over the track now, I'll do it by going to closest notes, and I might move away from the shapes a little bit just to play a bit more freely. deliberately sort of playing quite simply to make those moves obvious. Hopefully they sound obvious. This kind of approach, as I said, it relies upon good fretboard knowledge of chord tones, and it relies upon good knowledge of how the links are, or where the links can be found between chords. Big topic I've covered previously on lessons is when chords move in fourths, like E to A to D, D to G, the flat 7 of the chord resolves down to the third of the next chord. So if I finish on a D on the E7, the C sharp, the third of the next chord, is the semitone below. Now if I finish on the flat 7 of the A7, if I go A, C sharp, E, G, there's the flat 7. For the next chord D7, the third F sharp sits beneath. Could do D, F sharp, A, C, play the chord in order, finishing on a 7. The next chord is G, the third of G is B, just move down a semitone. So there's things like that as well which are good to know, and if you don't know that sort of stuff, the flat 3 to 7 resolution, I'll link up a video at the end for you to check that out. So your task is to improvise firstly with just the chord tones, maybe just a case of just simply outlining it like this. A7, D7, G, D, G, B, and down. And so on. That's up and down. Up 1, down A7, up D7, down E. Then the B we did like this. Back to E7. Things like that are good to do. Work with just a couple of the notes. Again, try and get into the sound of the chord and the chord tones into your ear, internalise the sound of them. In terms of soloing over the rest of the form, you obviously got the E minor, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7. I think there, you know, if that E minor, you could hit E minor pentatonic. Important note to get on that B7 bar is the D sharp, which is the third of that chord. So if you imagine E minor pentatonic, there's the D sharp, which is the third of B7. You hear that, it's like E minor idea, hit the D sharp. These target notes are helpful when you're getting used to harmony. When it comes to this bit, something I like to do is use this. If you do a D shape starting at fret 7, then move it down a fret but pick it backwards and keep that pattern up that one, down this one, so that's, and then I finish on 4, 3, 3, B, D, G on the top 3 strings. So, and you can invert those shapes up the neck line, or even fun things to do, because over those chords they move quite quickly and it's hard to think about doing lots there. I think it's quite nice to have like a set piece sometimes. You could also do it with the D7 shape. So if I do a D7 shape with fret 7 and 6, it'd be nice swept. I'm sure Django would like that. All like. So it's just some suggestions about working with chord tones there. Really depends on where you're at on your fretboard and harmony knowledge as to how far you can go with these sort of things. And you're at stage 1, just embrace it, really get used to it. Then, you know, bring in other colours like the 6th and the 9th, and then yeah, you try and make close moves between chord tones so things flow a little bit better. Anyway, any questions, you let me know. If you missed last lesson on the chords and the harmony, I'll put that up on the screen now. I'll put another video up about chord tone soloing, but don't forget to join me every Wednesday and Saturday for jazz guitar lessons. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Leave me a comment, hit that like button, and until next time, you take care.